Trump says Iran is secretly negotiating. Iran says he's lying. Oil just hit $126 a barrel, the fastest spike in conflict history. One of them is playing you, and the answer determines what you'll pay to heat your home this winter. Most people think this is a simple disagreement between two governments. It's not. This is a calculated information war where your energy bill is the battleground. Here's what actually happened. On February 28, the US and Israel launched airstrikes on Iranian military targets, including a strike that killed Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei. Iran's response was immediate and devastating. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps seized control of the Strait of Hormuz, the narrow waterway where 20 million barrels of oil pass through every single day. That's roughly 20% of all seaborne oil on the planet. They mined the shipping lanes and declared the strait closed to what they called unfriendly nations. Overnight, traffic dropped from over 100 ships per day to just 21. The world's energy supply line was severed. Then came the price shock. Brent crude blew past $100 on March 8 and kept climbing to $126. Maersk, CMA CGM, Hapag-Lloyd, the biggest shipping companies in the world, all suspended operations through the strait. The International Energy Agency scrambled, releasing 400 million barrels from emergency reserves on March 11 just to stop the bleeding. But here's the part most people missed: those reserves are a bandage, not a cure. They buy weeks, maybe a couple of months. If the strait stays closed, and Iran's internal assessments suggest it will, the math gets very ugly, very fast. Now here's where it gets bizarre. On March 23, Trump posted that the U.S. had held, his words, very good and productive conversations with Iran. He claimed envoys Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner had met with Iranian leaders directly. He even extended a 5-day deadline he'd set for Iran to reopen the strait, postponing planned strikes on Iranian power plants. The markets loved it. Stocks surged. Oil dipped. Everyone exhaled. But there was one problem: Iran said none of it happened. Tehran called it psychological warfare designed to manipulate energy prices. State media insisted the strait would stay closed indefinitely. So who's telling the truth? Look at the data. Shipping trackers showed no change whatsoever after Trump's announcement. Vessel traffic stayed frozen at around 21 ships, the same number since the crisis began on February 28. If real negotiations were happening, if there was genuine progress toward reopening, you'd expect movement. Insurers adjusting rates. Ships repositioning. Pilots being briefed. None of that happened. The markets rallied on a Truth Social post while the actual strait remained a ghost town. Analysts pointed out the obvious: Wall Street was trading on tweets, not on tankers. Meanwhile, Europe was trapped. Gas prices surged up to 45% across the continent. Trump demanded European nations send warships to escort tankers through the strait. Germany said no. Spain said no. Italy, the UK, all refused. And the polls showed why: 58% of Germans, 68% of Spaniards, and 56% of Italians opposed the original strikes on Iran. European leaders couldn't join America's military campaign without political suicide at home. But doing nothing meant watching energy prices eat their citizens alive. France's Macron floated a defensive escort mission called Operation Espides, but it was a half measure at best. This is the common misunderstanding: people think this is about diplomacy. It's not. It's about leverage and who blinks first. Trump's play appears calculated. By claiming talks exist, he temporarily calms markets, buys time, and pressures Iran from the inside. If Iranian citizens believe their government is secretly negotiating, it undermines hardliners. Iran's play is equally deliberate. By denying everything and keeping the strait closed, they prove they can hold the global economy hostage. Both sides are performing for different audiences, and the stage is your wallet. The longer this chess match drags on, the deeper the energy crisis bites. And here's what should keep you up tonight. Those 400 million barrels the IEA released? At current consumption rates, that buys roughly 20 days of breathing room. Some analysts are already whispering about a scenario nobody wants to discuss publicly. If the strait stays closed for months, Europe may have no choice but to quietly turn back to Russian gas. The very energy dependency they spent years trying to escape. Think about that. A crisis started by American and Israeli strikes on Iran could end with Europe crawling back to Moscow. Trump says Iran is ready to talk. Iran says the strait stays closed. Shipping data says nothing has changed. And your next energy bill? That's the only thing that's guaranteed to move. If this is the first you're hearing about any of this, you're already behind. Follow this channel, we break down the stories that hit your life before the headlines catch up. Drop a comment, do you think Trump is bluffing, or does Iran have more to lose? Like this video so more people see it. Because while governments play chess, you deserve to know the rules.